Hey, welcome to Let the Light In. Today on the camera, we've got the 7Artisans 24mm f1.8 full frame lens, and we are reviewing it for Sony E-mount today. This lens is coming in at a price point of $329 US. It's a full frame lens. It's got an 11 blade diaphragm. It's got a customizable function button on the left-hand side of the lens body. And on the bottom, it's got a USB-C port for firmware upgrades. Now, as far as autofocus performance goes, with speed and accuracy, it's got a quiet STM stepper motor, which in real world use was very reliable. I could point the camera at the scene, I could hit record, and I didn't have to worry about whether or not my subject was going to be in focus. It was reliable, it was trustworthy. And as far as noise goes, the autofocus motor never made any noise. You won't have any noise issues with this autofocus motor. Focus breathing is going to be present. If you take a look at the far left side of the screen here and look at the tree, you will notice that there's some kind of warping, bulging going on in and out on that left side on the corners. So yes, focus breathing is present, although it isn't necessarily incredibly dramatic. As far as focus pulls go, focus pulls were accurate, although they were, I will report, incredibly quick. You can see it's very, very snappy, yet it is precise. Now, personally, I would like to kind of see that slowed down so that it has more of a natural and smooth feel to it. And yet, funnily enough, when focus pulling in between something that didn't have a lot of distance in between it, for example, my hand and my face, it was a slower transition. It didn't have that really quick, almost jarring motion there. It was able to do it with relative ease. So it's funny that, you know, for something so far away, it was instantaneous, yet for something that was just, you know, 30 centimeters away, it created that nice smooth transition. So multiple findings there. It's a little bit odd, but overall just more consistency there within focus pulls and making it kind of a nice smooth transition on a consistent basis. Now, your minimum focus distance on this lens is 0.32 meters. That's going to be basically 1.05 feet. And that means you're not going to be able to fill the frame with smaller subjects, let alone yourself. I mean, I can get a little bit closer, although at this point, you know, I'm getting very close to minimum focus distance. So you're not really going to be able to fill the frame with your subject. Now, having a wide open aperture of f1.8, its aperture range is 1.8 to 16, just so you know. But having that wide open aperture means that it's going to be a usable lens in low light situations. And the aperture ring is a D-clicked aperture ring with no hard stop in between f16 and automatic. There might be like the slightest, faintest click there, but you can just rotate the aperture ring cleanly over into automatic mode. And so again, as far as a little bit of critique goes, I would like to see there be introduced, if not a hard stop, at least some type of click or form of resistance to let you know that, all right, I'm at f16, don't turn any further. Now, wide open at f1.8 in a low light scenario, you can see that it does a good job in pulling in the light and catching the scene in an appropriate lit manner. And you can see that the lens performs well. It also does well in regards to sharpness in low light. You can see the texture of the stuffed animal. Looking at bokeh quality, bokeh is nice and circular, but if you go to the very extreme corners and the sides of the lens, you can see that it does begin to stretch out and deform within the extreme corners. Taking a look at aperture racking, there are very clear visible steps as you aperture rack with this lens. Now, this lens, I did also notice that it made it very, it was quiet, but it did make some noise as you aperture rack and go through that process. And so you can tell that as the aperture moves, it's not a smooth rotation. It's kind of stepped in its performance, and you can see it, you know, it's almost like click, 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 and you can see kind of every single step as it goes through and either closes or opens up through its aperture range. Now this lens comes in weighing at 15 ounces or 424 grams. Its focus ring is very smooth. I would say it's got a medium amount of damping to its rotation, but it feels great in its rotation. And as far as this lens working with stabilization, my Sony A7IV didn't really pick it up. I had stabilization set to the standard mode on my camera body, and yet I noticed that it wasn't actually stabilizing the lens. It wasn't until I went in and manually set the lens to a 24mm lens that I actually saw a difference there. So just something to be aware of. If you are using a camera body that has IBIS in it, it may not pick up this lens, and you may have to go in and enter that manually for stabilization to be applied in body. And if you don't have that, or if you don't even have a camera body that is able to do IBIS, then you will be relying on stabilization in post, which did work fine. Now, sharpness and detail. Footage was sharp and clear with textures and details being very easily visible. I felt like color reproduction with this lens looked nice as well. Looking at its lens flares and its character closed down at f/16, you get a really nicely formed sun star and a very minimal amount of flaring. Opening all the way up to f/1.8 means that flaring gets cleaned up and goes away. It's eliminated, although to be fair, there was very minimal amount of flaring to begin with. Additionally, through all of my use, I can say that chromatic aberrations was never really a problem with this lens. Now, overall, despite not being able to get nice close-up shots, this lens does produce some nice looking footage with good clarity and good color. And if you would like to use this lens as a vlogging lens, you can use it for that application. You can open it up. I had it in my tests here set to f/2.8, and it will keep focus on your face as you walk around within your environment. And even if it loses track of your face, it will pick it back up quickly and accurately. Now at $329, this lens, the 7Artisans 24mm f/1.8, puts in a good clean performance and produces nice in-focus footage. Its main fault, in my opinion, would be its minimum focus distance, which isn't very minimum, and it doesn't allow you to fill your frame with your subject. But overall, for a lens coming in at $329 US, that's quite a small detraction. It's a small drawback from this lens. This lens is consistent, it is reliable, it produces good quality footage, and if you would like to purchase it, the links can be found down below. As far as alternative options that you may want to keep in mind of, similar lenses would be the Rokinon 24mm f/1.4. That's coming in at $359 US currently. And this other suggestion that I'll throw out there, I'll admit it's in a completely different price category. It's not even in the same realm, but within the focal length, you may or may not be interested in the Rokinon 14 to 24mm f/2.8. That does come in at $1,199, and I'll put a link here to a review that I did do on that lens. But that is all the information that you have. So some things to take into consideration. If you'd like to buy it, links are down below. If not, I hope you found the review helpful and informative. And if you think it was, then please consider subscribing. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, and remember to let the light in. If you've been looking for music to use within your YouTube videos without receiving a copyright strike, then today I want to suggest to you using the website Upbeat. This is not a paid for promotion. I'm not getting anything out of this, but if you want to use my link to sign up, it's found in the description there. What you can get is you can get 3 free songs every single month, and those credits will update and renew on a monthly basis. All you have to do is pick a song from the website, download it, and copy and paste the unique code that is going to be given to you in your description box. Following those 3 easy steps, you just found a song for your next YouTube video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you want to check it out, remember, link is in the description.